What is up, guys? David here from Overland Nomad, and let's get into the review of the Anker Powerhouse 767, one of the nicest and biggest power stations I've reviewed yet. Stay tuned. Let's go ahead with the unboxing first, and that came in a really nice box. For a product this expensive, you would expect it to be in a nice box, and it did. Now let's talk about the design of the Anker Powerhouse 767, and it is very nice. I mean, the material, it's very solid. It's actually unibody construction, and it's made to be able to drop. You can drop it. It's anti-UV. It's a fire retardant, and it's really nice. But the design itself, I love the colors. I love the wheels. It's quality from what I can see right off the bat on the design. Compared to some other power stations, they feel real cheap. They're real bland. But this one really stands out for what it is, and I really gotta say 10 out of 10 on design. I really like it. It kind of reminds me of an Apple product, something that they really thought about the design. They really went ahead and did their best on it. One thing that I do like about this power station is that they actually put rubber on the wheels, and the wheels can travel up to 124 miles. That's what they claim on their website. But I like the little details on the rims. I mean, it's like a two-tone rim, rubber wheels. Most of the power stations or fridges that I've gotten actually just have plastic wheels. They're not that durable. These are rated for 124 miles of carrying, so that's pretty intense. You do get a handle, their easy toe handle, which it just clicks and it opens. And I like that they put the handle on the top, not on the bottom, so you don't have to really bend over and get the handle. And it does have two handles, so if you want to strap this down to your truck, the bed of your truck or the back of your SUV. And then on the design, I like this ambient light. As you can see, it's on right now. I can raise the levels. And one thing that I really appreciate about the light is that it's a very relaxing light. I've used this for camping. I had this in my tent and I turned it on. It's not a bright LED light where it's too much. This is an actual yellow, more of an incandescent look, even though it's LED. You have 3 different modes, but I really appreciate this. I actually really like it. I never really care for the lights that they put on power stations because it's usually like a flashlight style kind of thing. But this is very well thought out. Good job on Anker for doing that. Let's get right into the specs of the power station, the important stuff. This is a 2048 watt hour power station. You can actually expand, you can double the battery to 4096 watt hours if you buy their expansion pack. It sits right on top, but that's separate. But this itself is 2048 watt hours. And the battery chemistry on this is a lithium iron phosphate battery, an LFP battery. That's your top end, that's your high end kind of battery chemistry you want on a power station because it could do 3,000 cycles of usage to 80%. Some other battery chemistries won't do that much, but the lithium iron phosphate will. It's a good and safe battery chemistry you could use. And I've had some power stations that use that kind of technology and, well, not technology, but that battery chemistry, and that's the one you really want to go for. Recharge time on the Anker Powerhouse 767 is 0 to 100% in under 2 hours. And I'll be going over the input that you can bring into the power station, how much wattage you can do. We'll go over that in a little bit. Price on this power station is the most expensive I've had. This is a $2,000 power station at the making of this film, but for a limited time, there is a link in the bio where you can get $200 off. It's actually $300 off, not $200. $300 off on the purchase of the Anker 767 Powerhouse. Check that out if you're interested. Anker claims a 10-year lifespan on this power station, and they do give you a 5-year warranty with them with great customer service. Now let's go over the plugs that this thing does have. It's got 4 AC plugs rated for 2400 watts in total. You have this plug is very special to this power station because I haven't seen it yet on another power station. This is a TT30R 30 amp plug, which is for RVs or off-road trailers like in my community. So a lot of RVs have this kind of plug. If you plug the connection from your RV to the Anker Powerhouse 767, it will power everything in your RV or your off-road trailer. And even in some cases, I've heard that some houses actually have these kind of plugs. so you can plug in and it will run your house. I actually like this connection because in the future I'm kind of planning on maybe getting a small RV or a small off-road trailer, so I can just plug in my whole RV directly to the Anker 767 and it's gonna do everything for the RV. You get 2 cigarette plugs, 12 volts. This is really nice. This is the first power station that I get that has 2 cigarette plugs. That really is a big one because in my community, when you go camping and off-roading, a lot of the stuff they use for camping uses cigarette lighter plugs, like a 12-volt fridge and other appliances. And this is perfect because I usually can only use 1 power station per appliance because of that. So you get 2 on this one. That's pretty sick. I reviewed another power station. If that video hasn't come up, that power station only had 1 cigarette lighter plug, and it was the same size as this one. It was a 2,000 watt-hour power station, and that one only had 1. You get 2 USB-A fast charge ports and 3 USB-C 100-watt ports. Your USB-Cs are perfect to charge your iPhone, charge even your MacBook, and all that. It's pretty nice. Again, the other power station I reviewed in my other video didn't even have USB-As, which was disappointing. Anker, this one does, which is awesome because we're still using USB-A plugs. We haven't converted completely to USB-C yet. Now let's go over the inputs of the Anker Powerhouse 767. Your first input you have is your XT60 solar connection rated for 1,000 watts. This plug is, I have other power stations that use this XT60, this little yellow plug. It's pretty common now. Like I said, I've had them, and even one of my solar panels uses that kind of connection. So 1,000 watts solar to that input. One of the wires that it comes with is an XT60 hub, and on this hub you can plug in, let's say you have multiple 200 watt solar panels, you can plug directly into this hub. One downside to this XT60 hub is that it could actually be dangerous. You can actually shock yourself. I watched another YouTuber and he mentioned that if this hub is live, if you have it plugged in, you have solar panels connected to it, if you touch one of those 2 ends, you can actually shock yourself. So be careful, just be aware of that kind of design. I don't know why Anker did that, but there you go. Also, another wire that you do get with your Anker Powerhouse 767 is an XT60 to 12 volt, meaning your cigarette lighter plug. So that's where you also plug in to your car. And the other input that you do get is a 3-prong wire connection rated for 1,440 watts. That's gonna be your main input that you plug into the wall. And what's really nice, it's just a generic wire. There's no power brick. That's built into the power station. A lot of power stations do that nowadays, and I give that a big plus because you don't wanna be carrying around this big brick of a charger. And on top of that, this cable is a very common computer cable that you can find anywhere. So if you were to lose it or forget it, you can just go to the store and buy another one real quick. If you lose or forget your power charger, you're not gonna find that one. It's gonna be very hard to find one at a Walmart or something. You're not gonna get one. One of the buttons they do have on the power station is a power saving mode. This shuts down any output port once a connected device has been fully charged. This is also an uninterruptible power supply, also known as a UPS, rated for 20 milliseconds. So this you could plug in, let's say you have some very high-end computers that you run at your house. You can plug in your computer to this. This plugs into the wall. You leave this on, and if the power were to go out, this will automatically turn on and leave your devices running it won't shut down your computer or anything like that. It's rated for 20 milliseconds, which is really cool if you have some very high-end PC or you're running something that needs to be on at all times. Again, this is perfect for use at the house, which we're gonna be testing a little bit. Let's say there's an emergency. Let's say the power goes out. I know it's happened in my house. It happened here last year in Texas where we had a freeze. This would have been perfect to run a fridge and all that because we didn't have power for a long time. Okay, so let's say you're in a scenario where power goes out and you have a solar panel, you have this. You can plug your solar panel and power your fridge, your house fridge. You can run microwaves, whatever you want. This thing will do it. It's pretty cool. And we'll be testing right now the fridge, see how it does. First test we're gonna be doing on the Anker is a regular saw. So let's go ahead and turn on the AC input. You usually hear a lot of power stations whenever the AC inverter turns on. Pretty loud. It's pretty quiet. Okay, let's give it a try. Next up, we have a heat gun test. Let's put this on high. Now for the fridge test, I'm going to be plugging in here to the cigarette lighter. I already turned this on. I really like these buttons, by the way. They're like metal. Pretty nice. Anyways, let's plug in directly to the fridge. And what I'm going to do, and I'll show you guys right now on camera. I'm going to turn this thing on, and I'm going to drop the temperature so it can kick in the compressors. That compressor on the fridge. So we should see an actual increase there of output on the fridge. And I have the lid open as well. And I'll show you guys here. Let me take you off the tripod. You can hear the compressor kicking in. Got the fridge plugged in. Let's go over here. We're showing 68 watts. At this rate, it would stay on for 24 hours, a whole day. Obviously, fridges don't have the compressors running every second. They only kick in when it needs to. So this test right here is new to me. I've never been able to do this before. I have an Instapot and an air fryer running at the same time. So the Instapot is on saute mode and the air fryer is just doing its regular air frying. And it's pulling in a max of 2400 watts. That's probably the max on the power station there. And now because the Anker 767 is running really high, now you can finally hear those fans kicking in and they're pretty loud. But that only happens when you're doing some high power like this. And now to our last test of the video is running a regular house fridge. And that's pretty easy for the Anker 767. It's not a big issue, as you can see, but on the power station it's actually not pulling much. It's 27 watts. That's very little. I was trying to get the compressors to kick in and they wouldn't, but previous tests that I've done, the fridge, when the compressors are on, it's running around 550 watts, around that range, which is still nothing for the power station. Now let's go over the application for your iPhone. I'm pretty sure they have one for the Android. I'll put if they do or not, but I'm going to use the iPhone. I'm going to share the image, what I'm seeing here. So actually I haven't even used the app before, so let's go ahead and add a device. Into scanning for nearby Bluetooth devices. Let's see. Let's press the Bluetooth button there. It's showing that searching. Let's try this again. Let's add devices. There we go. 767 Powerhouse. That was easy. It's using Bluetooth. Unlike Wi-Fi, the other power station that I reviewed that was around the same size used Wi-Fi and actually I could never connect to it. It was really annoying. So this is nice because I don't have to disconnect from my Wi-Fi and all that. So the app itself is really nice. As you can see that there's a little image of the power station. I really like it. It looks really nice. It tells you 98%. It tells you your temperature, 78 degrees. It's pretty hot in my garage. Shows you inputs, outputs. It looks like you can turn on and off the connections here. As you can see, the blue USB-A's are blue because they're actually being used right now. As you can see, I connected these little lights that I have in here, LED lights. So when something's being used, it shows you the blue stuff. Power saving mode, like we talked about. Let's try the brightness here. You can control the light. It's pretty quick to control. You got your settings. You have an AC recharging power. You can modify if you want to use all 1440 watts, so you can drop it all the way, okay, to high-speed recharge. I don't know what that's about. So you have different options there. Light SOS mode. Let's try that out. Oh, that's cool. Screen brightness. Oh, that's pretty nice. You can adjust the brightness. Screen timeout, 30 seconds. Actually, I like a good 5 minutes. Actually, we'll leave it there for 5 minutes. It's pretty nice. You can change the device name. your temperature, it felt Fahrenheit or Celsius. This is a really nice app. It's a really well thought out app. The other one that looked this nice was also the EcoFlow. That one is pretty cool. It tells me remaining use time 3 days, 1 hour, and 36 minutes. This is a really nice app. As you saw right now, all I had done was downloaded it, and right now I barely connected. That was a quick setup. Very nice. To conclude this review video, the Anker Powerhouse 767 is a beast. If you're looking to have an emergency power source for your house, this would be it. If you're going camping, off-roading like me, this is it. This is the pinnacle of power stations. But this is more for, I would say, for home preparedness, because 2000 watts, 2048 watts, that's a lot of power. You can power your fridge, all your camping gear for a while. So $2,000, that's really steep. This is a big investment if you're gonna buy one of these. But again, 5-year warranty. Anker, a very well-known brand. You can't go wrong with that. This isn't some random brand you never heard of. And yeah, I think this is, I would say, the Cadillac of power stations. This one right here is my favorite that I've reviewed so far, and this one I'm gonna be using a lot on my upcoming trips. So thank you for watching, guys. Again, link down below for $200 off, and we'll see you on the next one.